Welcome, Cavalier fans, to Coach's Corner, Week 8. Certainly an exciting week last week, but as you all know, we all need to move forward and move on to the next game and look forward to what's coming up. But let's review that Marion local game because it was a lot of fun and I guess it was really fun because we won it. But so you hear a lot of as we prepared for the game. Certainly a lot of hype around the game. We talked to our players about this was kind of a Coach Reed thought to enjoy and embrace those moments when it's going to be a big crowd and it's going to be exciting and there's a lot of hype without getting too tight and too worked up about things. So we've had a phrase for the last few years. We talk about playing loose, fast, but also focused. And so we did have that. We really got focused and the kids, they tend to stay pretty relaxed and just go out and play. And so the last couple of years, we felt like maybe we got a little tight when the pressure got on in that game versus Marion. But this year, really responded well. So heck of a game, obviously. If you've heard about it, 17-14, and with the last play field goal by Kyle McKibben. Just an outstanding football game. Really, no turnovers in the game by either team. So that was unusual for a big game. Good offenses back and forth. Really good defense back and forth. I guess we probably feel like we could have scored a couple more times. I guess the one negative in the whole game was really penalties, and really about even. We had a couple more than they did, and most of those penalties were physical penalties, not jumping offside and mental kind of things, but just tough. Physical penalties that were frustrating because we had some big plays on a few of those penalties. But so we really feel good about the way we played. All three phases, again, our kicking game was outstanding, and really, when it came down to it, if you look at the one phase that we won for sure was the kicking game. We had a couple good kickoff returns. That last kickoff return got us a chance to even go for the field goal. Our punting game was good. We had to punt five or six times, I think. Kickoff, Kyle McKibben bombed a couple, 2-3 in the end zone again, and certainly, obviously, then the field goal got us to win there. So special teams was awesome. Offense, really, we moved the ball pretty well, over 300 yards and no turnovers. And then defensively, we made them work. I think they only averaged not even 4 yards a play, and against a good team, that's special. I guess maybe the most proud thing I am of our players is that we had not been stressed all year. Through 6 games, we were ahead early, and so we never did get stressed too much. And you don't know how your guys are going to handle that. So they scored 2 touchdowns, and right after the touchdowns, we scored on a 2-play drive and a 4-play drive to end the game. So that really made me feel good about our guys. That hey, something bad happened. How are we going to handle it? And they bounced back and scored, like I said, in 2 plays on one and 4 plays on the other, and certainly that last one with a lot of pressure, and Jack made 3 great throws, and then Kyle knocked it through. So really happy with the win, obviously, 17-14. That puts us in a great position to try to win the league and get in the playoffs and all those types of things. And certainly, if you haven't paid much attention or haven't seen, or if you're not from around here, the crowd was outstanding. I don't know, all kinds of predictions, but I'm going to guess maybe around 5,000 people there, maybe. And the 50-50 was just crazy at $11,000, and so it was a great week for us. And obviously, when you win it certainly makes it feel a heck of a lot better. And so, really proud of our team, really proud of the coaches, the way they got the guys ready, and the focus, and everything was just a little bit more of that past week. And so hopefully we can continue. Versailles this week. Really a good rivalry over the years, even though they weren't in the league till I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago. The series is, I believe, 30-28, and then 2 ties, so we're up 2 on them. And so that's there's a lot of pride factor now that we want to keep that lead in that series. Versailles is in our region this year, so they're very similar to us in size of school and number of boys and those types of things. So they're in our region. So right now they're on the outside looking in at the playoffs, but if they would beat us, that would jump them, I'm sure, up into the top 8. So they've got a lot to play for, and certainly we've talked to our guys about there's a lot to play for us if we want to win the league title and move on and feel good about going into the playoffs. You don't want to step backwards. So we feel like we've got a lot to play for, and hopefully the players will buy into that and go out and do what they've been doing. So we feel good about that. Versailles offensively, just kind of looking ahead here towards the game. They have a real good tailback who was all league last year. I think he's leading the league in rushing, and so he's going to carry the ball quite a few times, 15, 20, 25 times if they get things going the way they want. And so our number one task, number one job for our defense is to stop the run and stop their tailback. If we can do that, we feel like we'll get them into throwing situations, and then we're good from there. Offensively, for us, they're in a base 4-3 defense, and so kind of the trend has gone, I guess, these last few years over teams with a 3-4 or even 3-5 defense. So that's a little bit different, but they're very sound and yet pretty vanilla from what we've seen. They don't blitz a whole lot, and so we feel like we can do some things with all the different weapons we have, and hopefully move the ball and get some scores, and then hopefully the special teams keeps doing what they're doing. I've really tried to convince those guys that it's such a huge part of the game, and those guys are starters. A lot of those guys aren't playing full time, offense or defense, but we look at them as starters. So they've done a great job so far. Actually, we call it the Canton Central Catholic attitude. Last year in the Horseshoe, our kickoff team was just on fire. Tony Ramel, who is now our full-time inside linebacker, he's still on those special teams. And, I always talk to him. He's kind of the leader of that group, he and Corey Selhorst. And we say the CCC attitude because those guys were on fire in the state championship last year. And, of course, they got to be out there 8-9 times kicking off. So I remind them of that so that they have that attitude and really go out there and play well on the special teams. So keys to victory, I guess, real simply, like I said, stop the tailback. Offensively, not turn the ball over. Like I said, we didn't turn it over last week. We want to continue that and get those matchups where our big play guys make big plays. That's how we do things, and that's the kind of personality of our team that they can make big plays. So we want to continue to do that. Injury report. We have one slight injury for a sophomore who's on those special teams and backup grad gear. Will probably not play with a sprained ankle. You heard it in the JV game. But all the starters on varsity O&D are really healthy and feeling good. So hopefully we can keep that going. Marion was a great week, but you got to move forward. And so we'll remember that later on down the road when the season's over. But for now, we're looking ahead to Versailles Tigers this week, 7:30 at Versailles at Whole Field. One last thing I want, like I've done the last few weeks. I had talked about the coaches a couple weeks ago, scout team, just to add a little something. So I'd like to really thank the Booster Club and Eric Goodwin, who is really kind of heading the charge with our new building, and they're getting close. So it's going to be a really outstanding facility for us, multi-purpose, and that was the goal of it, where we can we can certainly have locker rooms and storage rooms and a training room and officials room and a coach's office with TV so we can work in there, and a big drop down screen so we can watch film. And then certainly in the winter, then the wrestlers are going to be out there, and then the baseball, we're going to have some batting cages and a roll-out carpet that they can field. And so it's really going to be a really nice multi-purpose room. And so I really want to thank Eric kind of heading that up, and the booster clubs and all the people who have donated money and time to help us put this together, and feel really good about that, and really want to thank those people that have helped in that project. So again, Versailles, 7:30 at Whole Field in Versailles, Friday night. Thank you.